Hi everyone and welcome to today's basic mat class. We're just going to start off with some balance exercises and then we'll go into, I think we're overdue for some press ups, so don't turn your link off yet. You'll love the press ups, I'm sure, and you'll make those arms a bit stronger. And then of course working on our core, and we'll do some good hip mobility exercises today because I know how much you guys love freeing up the hips, so hopefully getting through the press ups will be worth it to get to the hip mobility exercises. So we're going to start with some Superman balance. So I'm just going to get Brad to start in the center of the mat so he's got plenty of space. So just start in the middle so you've got room behind you. Anyways, fine. Actually, you might want to face that way. Better line. Okay, so with our Superman, if your balance on a single leg is not so good, feel free to just keep your back foot on the floor and only lean forward as much to match that angle. So we're going to start with the weight on your right foot. We're going to just have a very, very soft bend in the knee, just so that we're not getting too much tension through the nerves there, affecting our technique. We're going to try to focus on a point out in front of us for balance here. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. As we breathe out, we're going to keep the weight on the right foot as we start to stretch the left leg back behind us, and we're reaching the arms forward into our Superman balance. Now again, you can keep that back foot down if your balance isn't so good, like Brad's doing there, or if you're okay to lift it up. Try not to rotate through the hips. Think about trying to keep both hip bones square to the floor as you start to go down. Focus on using those glutes to lift. Now you should be looking about 2 or 3 feet in front of your mat now, focusing on a point there, and then slowly returning back up. Good.
Foot down?
Foot down. Alright, then we go to the other side. So again, on the weight on the left leg this time, we're going to start to stretch the arms forward as we reach the right leg back. Again, trying to get those hips square. You can softly bend the standing knee, especially if you are a little bit tight in the hamstrings. Again, focus on a point a few feet in front of the mat, and then we'll return back up. Good, we'll do 2 more, a little bit quicker this time. So breathing out as we stretch away. Soft bend in the knee, use the glutes, breath in, and breathe out to return. Breath in to prepare, breathe out, reach, hold for the breath in, and breathe out to return. Breath in to prepare. 1 more each side. Breathing out as we reach away. Try to keep those shoulders down and return. Last one. Breath in to prepare and breathing out as we reach. Good. Breath in there and breath out to return. Excellent. All right, and then if I get you just to come backward, and we'll do your press ups this way. Alright, so now we're going into our press up. So a few roll downs before we go into the press up. So imagine your back is right up against a wall. Keep the head back against the wall to start with, shoulders back, glutes squeezed and tailbone tucked. Breath in as we lengthen up the wall. Breathe out as you tuck your chin to your chest, drop the breastbone and the ribs, draw the navel into the spine as we let the body stretch down. Take a breath in there and breathe out as we tuck the tailbone under and we roll back up through the spine, shoulders down and back. Breath in again. Exhale, chin to the chest. We'll do 2 more. Make sure that you're not poking that chin out. Make sure that the crown of the head is hanging. And roll it back up. Restack back up nice and tall. 1 more. Breathing out, chin to the chest. Drop the breastbone. Draw the ribs down. Draw the navel into the spine. Let those shoulder blades relax. And start to roll back up, tuck the tailbone, squeeze the glutes, restack. This time we're going down into our first lot of press-ups. We'll do 6 with this one. So we're going to tuck the chin as we start to roll down. Bend the knees as you walk your way up the mat. You can go onto your toes if you're confident on the toes, otherwise the knees is fine for a basic class. Line your body up and into a diagonal. Make sure that you're not sitting your weight back and leaving your bum up in the air, and make sure that you're not sagging down. Alright, so we're just going to try to keep this nice diagonal line. It's safer to keep a slight bend in your hips so that you can tuck your tailbone nicely. Neck is long, shoulders and hands are nice and wide. So going down for our 6 press ups, we're breathing in as we lower. Exhale, use the abs and arms to push up, and use that zip and hollow. Inhale coming down. exhale to lift. Now, if you have problems with your hands flat on the floor, you can go onto a fist instead, and that can just take some of the pressure off the wrist. When you've done 6 press-ups, we're going to come back into our shell stretch position. Bottom onto the heels and arms stretching out along the floor. Nice deep breaths into the back and sides of the ribs as we just walk the fingertips a little bit further forward and really try to stretch underneath the shoulders and into the lats. With the second set of press-ups, again doing our 6 press-ups, but we're just going to try and go a little bit slower on the way down, 5 seconds on the way down, and then press back up. Now it means, again, if you're not so strong with your press-ups, you don't have to go very deep. Even if you're only going halfway down and not the full distance, that's okay. We're just going to take it nice and slow over that 5 seconds, and then a really strong exhale as you lift. Imagine like you're blowing the floor away from you as you come up. So again, come forward into your press-up position. Again, a nice long line. Again, if you want to go into full press-ups like Brad's doing here, it's fine. Otherwise, kneeling is still fine. Again, we're going to be coming down over 5 seconds. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, strong lift. 5 more. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and use those abs. Make sure we don't dip the hips. Now remember to use your arms, not your body to sink to the floor. Use those arms and exhale, lift. Good. Breathing in for 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. And last one, down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lift. Excellent. And back to our shell stretch position again. Well done. Relax out those wrists. Now in the shell stretch here, we're just going to walk your hands across to the left-hand side of the floor. You can come just to the side of your mat or just onto the carpet. Basically, try to take the hands as far as you can go without shifting your hips off your heels. And then bring your right hand on top of your left hand. And you try to elongate this right side of your body. So think about trying to spread your ribs out to the right hand side like a fan opening up. Try to open up that right side of the rib cage. Stretch all of those muscles in between each rib. There's intercostals. And then we'll come across to the right hand side. Left hand coming on top. Again, keep that left hip down. Breathe into that left hand side of the rib cage. Imagine you're trying to stretch the side seam of your shirt. And then returning back to the center. Alright, we're going to go into our planks, and with this time with our planks, we're going to be doing some alternate knee lifts. So we'll try and go for 10 in total as we do these. So we're going to come down onto the mat, just onto the elbows and forearms. I'm going to start on the knees. So notice that Brad's got his back nice and level. We're not dipping too much down through the hips. The neck is nice and long. We've got the toes tucked under, and your feet should be able to stay exactly where they are on the mat. There's no need for them to move back or forward. So with the knee lifts, we're just going to be exhaling as we straighten one knee, driving the heel back, and then lower it down to the floor. Then to the other side. Press the heel back, straighten the knee, and then down. The lower back should stay nice and still. So we're going again. That was 2. So we're coming up the right leg again. Use that exhale. Right leg presses out. Breathing into lower. Breathing out as we lift the other side. Breathing into lower. Squeeze those glutes a little bit. Lift those abs. Then stretch. And down. And reach. And down. Good. Make sure that we're keeping the body in a nice long line. Remembering that pelvic floor contraction. Zipping and hollowing. Good. We've got one more each side. Keep scooping up through those abs. If you feel any pressure in your back, then just make sure you lift your hips a bit higher, tuck the bum. And then break and have a rest back into shell stretch one more time. And you can do. Alright, so we're getting that nice stretch. If there was any pressure in the back, again, it's always safe to keep your hips a bit higher so you can tuck your bum if you ever feel any pressure there, or you can always take a rest down into shell stretch position if you need to. Alright, and then from here, let's just do a cat stretch to really mobilize that spine. So we're starting up on the hands and knees. Got the hands under the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips, nice long spine. As we exhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, round upward through the spine, lift the ribs, tuck the chin, separate your shoulder blades, take a breath in, expand, And breathing out as we poke the tailbone out, we let the lower back dip down. That's into our, this is why I always happy cat, and then exhale, we're coming up into angry cat. So tucking that tailbone under, rounding up, so angry cat there, or camel as some people call it, and then dropping down into happy cat. Squeeze the shoulder blades down and back. And one more time, exhale as we round up. Notice that the head is dropping right down. We're not shrugging the shoulders, we're separating. And dropping down, tailbone out, lower back dips down. And then just find your neutral spine position. Excellent. And then we'll come back up into a sitting position, and I'll get Brad to just spin around so he's facing the other direction. You can see whichever direction is easiest for you. And we're going to do some roll down. So we're going to try a full roll down today. So if you do need some help, you can try the little trick of placing a small pillow or a folded towel just in behind the lower back, and this will just allow, especially if you're a bit stiff in the spine, it'll allow you to push your back into something as you're rolling up rather than pushing into nothing. So it just gives you a little bit more of that propulsion up. Otherwise, you can just choose to go halfway down and then come back up, and rather than going the full way. So we'll go 3 full roll-ups. So we're going to start nice and tall, flex the feet back towards you, breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, we're going to roll down. Brad doesn't need a pillow, so I'll take that away. We're going to breathe in, try to keep the ribs down as the hands come over the head. And then exhale, we tuck the chin to the chest, ribs to hips, and we stretch forward, point the toes. Breathe in, stack up nice and tall. Breathe out, tuck the tailbone under. Try to imprint. Watch that you don't lean to one side. And then exhale as we curl up and we stretch forward. And restack. One more time here, rolling down. Keep lengthening out those heels. Ribs stay down as the hands come up, and we curl up, hollowing in the spine. Try and avoid doming. Let your hands drop down onto your legs now. Just use your arms to pull you forward into a little bit more stretch. Try to get your weight over your sit bones as best you can. So we're not just stretching into the lower back. We're trying to get slightly tight hamstrings here for Brad's. We're trying to get that weight forward. And try to keep pulling up the stomach. Imagine that there's a little cupcake sitting on your lap and you're trying to make sure you don't smudge the icing. Right, we are going to roll down one more time, and we're going to do it over 10 seconds, so taking it nice and slow. Again, the more you keep stretching forward with your hands, the more that will work those abdominals. So we're going to flex the feet back towards us. We're going to exhale. We're going to start lowering down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep reaching with those arms. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Having one more stretch. This time, allow your stomach, your ribs and your back to lift up a little bit. Breathe into the stomach here and just fill the stomach and give it a stretch out. One more breath. And then we'll just bring the arms back down.
Bring next to my side?
Yeah. Excellent. All right, we're going to bend the knees, and we're just going to go into some spine curl pelvic bridges here. So we're going to have those arms nice and long, shoulders are down and back, feet are in line with the sit bones of your bottom, about the space of a fist between the knees and the ankles here. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. As we breathe out, we're going to tilt the pelvis back, squeeze the glutes, connect the ribs to the hips as we stack up. Try to get this nice diagonal line. Breath in, and then breathing out. Keep the chin tucked in, keep the shoulders back as we roll through the spine. Breath in at the bottom. Exhale as we lift up. Squeeze the glutes for that nice lift through the hips, and stretch the front of the hips out. And roll it down again. You're breathing in. And exhale as we lift. Breathing in at the top. And breathing out as we roll back down through the spine. Last one. Exhale, squeeze the glutes as we lift. Breath in at the top. And breathing out as we roll down. Right, then we're just going to go into a little bit of marching with this. So if you do get a bit crampy in your hamstrings, remember it's about abs and glutes, so those hamstrings don't start to cramp up on you. Try to avoid gripping behind your knees. Or the other option is just don't lift as high, because the more you're trying to really force that lift, the more you might start to overwork those hamstrings. So with our marching, just bring the feet a little bit closer together this time. You can keep your arms down, or if you want more challenge, we can have the hands just straight up. So I'll get Brad to bring his hands straight up. If you want to keep the hands down, that's fine. And we're going to tilt the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, and we're going to lift up into our bridge. We're going to make sure we're not overarching. We've got the ribs down, got that bum tucked, and then as we exhale, we're just lifting one leg to tabletop, trying to keep the rest of the pelvis steady, breathing in as it lowers down, and alternate the legs from there. Exhale, and then inhale down. And we're just going for 10 in total again. And that squeeze. And try to avoid any tipping or rolling by really setting up a good brace around the waist and getting those glutes working. As you're lifting one leg, actively pressing down into the floor with the opposite glute to make sure that you're keeping nice and strong. We've probably got our 3 more to go. Okay. Excellent. Last set. Make sure we're keeping, again, ribs down and squeeze together. Connect those ribs together. Use those obliques, ribs down. Good. All right, and then from there, we roll down using that exhale through the spine. Excellent. Now we're just going to let the right leg come to tabletop. We're going to hold behind that thigh for a little hamstring stretch. We're going to just let the other leg drop down to the floor. Now with our hamstring stretch here, we want to just allow the arms to be out at full stretch. You don't have to have the leg pulled in, but think about trying to keep your shoulders back and down against the floor. Now, as we exhale, we're just going to stretch with a pointed foot up towards the ceiling. We're going to flex and point at the top. Let's just do that half a dozen times. Just get a little bit of a stretch into the sciatic and the hamstrings. And then we'll bring that one down. We'll change to the other side. Right, again, let the arms be at full stretch so your thigh is pretty much vertical. Extend up and then flex and point again half a dozen times. Excellent. And then lowering that leg back down. And just resting. Alright, we're just going to go into some hip circles now. So these are a challenging one for the rotational control through your back. And again, you'll just find if you're a bit tight through the front of your hips, then you might find that the leg that's down might end up just popping up a little bit for the sake of trying not to have your back too arched. And that's okay. As we get more open through the hips, it should get better. So the idea with this is to try to keep that rib cage pulled down, pelvic bones pulled up, working into those lower abdominals. We're just going to start with our right leg. If we just bend your right knee, just to make sure that we don't kind of just lift it straight up. We want to just tilt the pelvis back a little bit, make sure that the back's not overarching. You may want to slide your hands just into the small of your back, just to make sure that you haven't got too much of an arch going on in the lower back. And then just lift your leg up to tabletop. All right, so we're engaging those abs, connecting the ribs and the hips, squeezing the bum on the straight leg. All right, we're going to start. If you've got a good amount of flexibility in your hamstrings, you can do this with the leg out straight. But if you find that that's going to make you grip with your hip muscles a little bit too much, then like Brad, you might be better just with the bent knee for now. We're going to start our circle, breathing in and opening out to the right side. Only go as far as you can go without your hips tipping off the floor on the left. Then circle down and back across the midline to the center again. We'll do 4 more that way. Breathing in to open and exhale and circle down and around. Again, if you're doing that with a straight leg, just be careful again to not go too big with the circle. Just try to really focus on where you can take that leg without losing your control. Try to avoid pressing down with your arms or tensing too much through your shoulders. Really focus on the abs and find the edge of where you've got that control. Last one. Ribs connecting down. And then we change direction. So we breathe in and come across the midline, then down towards our feet, out to the side and back to the center. Inhale, come across and out and around. Brilliant. Nice. Again, relax the shoulders. Focus in on the abs. Watch we're not starting to slip into the arch. Keep that left buttock squeezed gently. Lovely. 2 more. Last one. And then after this one, just give that knee a hug towards your chest and just squeeze out any tension in the hip muscles. Squeeze out that juice. And then we'll stretch that leg down. Alright, the left leg is coming up now. And again, we're just trying to keep the ribs down. We're trying to keep the pelvis tilted back. Gentle squeeze into the glutes. Starting, going out to the left-hand side, breathing in, down towards our feet and back across the midline. Breathing in, out to the side, down and around. Again, just watch that the hips are not tipping and rolling. If you want to put your hands under the lower back to just feel that, or onto the stomach on that opposite side, that can be helpful. Make sure you're not using your arms to stabilize you. Good. And then we're going the other direction. So we're coming across the midline first, down towards the feet and out to the side. Breathing in across the midline and then down and around. And 3 more. Down and out. Good. Try to keep steady through the hips. If you're getting any discomfort through the hip, again, just keep it smaller. And if you're feeling like there's a lot of snapping or clicking going on, again, just keep the movement a bit smaller. And then hug the knee into the chest. All right. And then from there, if we just bring that foot down, we'll bend the other knee, both knees up. And we just want to find our neutral spine. So I should mention as well, hopefully if you do need a pillow behind your head, you've popped that pillow behind your head if you needed to, while we're doing some of these lower abdominal exercises. So now we're going to go into a little bit of ab prep. So we're going to start with your hands just straight up towards the ceiling. If you do need to support your head, just place your hands just lightly in behind your head. We're going to do a curl, pause, little extra reach to get those upper abs kicked in, and then relaxing down again. So we're going to make sure that we keep neutral spine. We breathe in, nod the chin, breathe out, bring the arms down, curl through the head and shoulders, hold, take a little breath in, exhale, reach a little further, and then breathing in, we come back down. And again, exhale, curl, hold for the breath in, reach a little further, and back down. Good, 3 more. Exhale, curl it up, hold for the inhale, reach a little further, and down. And 2 to go. Exhale, curl. Be careful not to curl your bum too much. Keep that tailbone down. And release. Last one. Exhale, curl, hold, and reach, and down. Excellent. Now just placing those hands in behind the head. We're just going to do an oblique twist with a single leg lift to tabletop. So breathing out, we're going to curl up to the right and lift your right leg to tabletop or left, and then back to the floor. And then to the other side. So you're lifting one leg, twisting towards that side. If you're lifting your left leg, you're rotating to the left. As you lift your right leg, you're rotating to the right. Try to keep your hips nice and steady on the floor. Try to avoid any tipping or rocking through the pelvis. You're thinking about bringing rib to opposite hip. Keep those elbows nice and wide so we're not tugging, pulling on the head at all. Let's just do 3 more. 1 more each side here. Rib to opposite hip. And release. Last one. Excellent. And taking a little break. Awesome. We'll go into our full oblique set next, and then we'll do those nice hip opening stretches I promised you. Okay, so again, if you did need some help in tabletop and you want to put a little pillow underneath your bottom to help you, then just do that now. Again, if you're suffering any problem in the neck, then you don't necessarily have to do the curl up. So we're going to just start with one leg coming up to tabletop at a time. And then hands in behind the head. We're going to curl up into ab prep, so long as you're feeling comfortable in the neck. As we breathe out, we're twisting to one side, straightening the other leg, breathing in back to center, back to ab prep, over to the other side, back to ab prep. Exhale, twist, inhale, return. Exhale, twist, inhale, return. We're doing 1 more each side, and then we're going to increase the speed. Alright, so come back and hold. Now this time we're going to breathe out as we twist one way. Breathe in as we twist to the other side. No stopping in the middle this time. Excellent. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, Inhale, keep really rolling through that rib cage. Rib to opposite hip connecting. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hug the knees in towards you and rest down and shake it all out. Wonderful work. All right, now we'll just stretch out the stomach and get into our hip stretches as well. So if we come over onto your tummy, we'll do a little swan extension first to stretch out our abs, mobilize the back. So start with your hands either side of your head, further up if you're not that flexible, further under your shoulders if you're a bit more flexible here. Feet are hip width apart. Breathe in, start to roll the shoulders back and come up onto the elbows. Exhale, press through the hands and lift all the way. Breathing in, back down to the elbows and all the way flat. Breathing in, up to the elbows and all the way. Inhale, down and all the way flat. 2 more. And lift, stretch the stomach, peel the stomach up away from the floor. We're not completely relaxing the stomach when we do this. We're lifting it with us, but not letting it restrict our movement. Last one. Excellent. And down. And then we'll use your hands under your shoulders to push up onto your knees. And we're going to bring 1 foot forward. Let's go right foot forward to start with. All right. And we want to just make sure that we are comfortable on the knee there. If there's any problem, you can put a little extra pillow or towel underneath your knee. We're going to make sure that our hips are nice and even, so we want to just avoid one hip sitting up a lot higher, trying to drop that right hip down. We're going to tuck the tailbone under. We want to make sure that that left glute is squeezed and we're really pulling in with those abdominal muscles. Now, as you do that, you might already start to feel a bit of stretching through the front of that left hip or thigh. Okay, the main idea here is to isolate that stretch. It's not to really lunge a long way forward because we can all do that, but that movement often comes from your back. If you're not feeling the stretch, however, you can just start to lunge forward a little bit further over that right knee, over that right foot, and just make sure that you are getting that stretch now. Okay, from there, we're going to ease it back a little bit, so we're just slightly out of that stretch, more balanced on the knee this time, and hold. We're going to tuck the right hand in, left hand up. Left hand up. Nice breath in here, and breathe out as we side stretch over to the right. We should be getting that full stretch now through the left hand side of the body, and then return back upright. Excellent. Now from here, we're going to bring our hands down to our hips. We're just going to walk that right foot out 2 or 3 steps on a diagonal outside of your mat. Your foot is going to be directed on a 45-degree angle, and then we're just going to start to lunge over that right foot. And again, now we're just stretching through the hips and the groin a little bit. If you're not quite getting the stretch, go a little wider, step the foot a little further forward, find an angle where you can start to feel that sort of groin area stretching out a little bit more. Brilliant. Okay, and then coming back from there, we'll change the legs over. So we'll put that right foot back. We'll bring the left foot forward. Again, just make sure that the hips are nice and level. Drop the left hip down a little bit. All right, tuck the tailbone, squeeze the glutes. If you're not getting the full stretch there, then just slightly forward into that lunge. Keep your breathing going. Use your breath out to squeeze the glutes. Pull up through the abs. Check the curve in your lower back and make sure that you're not overarching. All right, and then we'll just ease back off that stretch a little bit. Fold the left hand in, bring the right hand up. Lovely. Nice breath in as we lengthen. Exhale, stretching over to your left hand side. Should be getting that stretch right down the right side of the body. And returning up. Lovely. Now walking the left leg out on the diagonal. Taking it out again, sort of 45 or more if you can. A little bit further forward if you need a little bit more stretch. Otherwise you can tone it back if not. And then lunging diagonally over that left foot. Again, just trying to open and stretch through the groin muscles, the adductors, and still opening up those hip flexors a little on the right hand side as well. Excellent. Returning out from there. Going into a mermaid stretch, but a bit of prep first for those hips. So if I get you, Brad, sitting facing the mirror with your feet tucked to your left-hand side. All right, so with our mermaid, we want to have a weight on one hip. We've got the feet tucked to our left-hand side here, and we're just going to start with a little bit of hip opening first, which is just starting with our right hand just slightly behind the right hip, the left hand just over by your left foot. All right, now as we exhale, we're just going to sweep that left arm forward in a nice arc over to the right hand top corner of the room, and then back down to the foot again.
Turning my body.
New one. So we're going into a rotation there, and then back down. So nice long diagonal sweep, up and over. Yeah, that's that. And back down. And lift. That's it. Good. Now we can add a little lift of the hips. So as you reach, you're going to push down through the hand, lift the hips up off the floor. So lift your bum.
That's as far as I can go without dropping the hand.
Let me demonstrate. New exercise for Brad. So even
Oh, so lifting my bum up.
lift your bum. Yeah. That's the one. There we go. Brilliant. And then back down. Let's do 2 more of those. Lifting the bum up. Excellent. And down. Last one. Excellent. And then our traditional mermaid. So the right hand is now going to be in line with your right hip. Just bring it forward a little bit. Breathing in, left hand lengthens up. Exhale, drop down to your elbow, walk your hand a little bit further forward, stretch your left hand right along the floor as far as you can. Yep, nice breath in here, and then as we breathe out, we're going to turn back to the front, push up through that right hand, fold the left hand in and bring the right hand up. And again, dropping down with the right hand, nice breath in as we lift. We'll drop to the elbow, we'll keep that hand long as we stretch over and twist.
Put the hand right down.
Yep, all the way down, nice breath in and breathing out. Coming back and lifting up and reach. Excellent. We'll move the feet to the other side. Just doing a little bit of hip opening first, so the left hand's just slightly behind your hip, right hand near the toes. And then just a nice big sweeping arc of that right hand. Follow the hand, look towards the upper left hand corner of the room and then back down. And again, sweeping forward and through. Yep, and follow the hand up, looking, that's it, and back. Yep, and one more time, follow the hand through and back, and then this time lifting your bottom. So pushing down through the left hand, lifting the bottom, reach.
If you say lifting to your knees,
And
it makes more sense.
Well, that's what I said the first time.
You said lift your bum.
I said lifting to your knees, lifting your hips.
There you go.
And down, one more time. Excellent, and down, going into our traditional mermaid, so the hands in line with your hips now. Breathing in, breathe out, drop to your elbow, nice reach and twist. Take a breath in there into the ribs, breathe out, reach a little further. Breathe in, turn back to the front and lift all the way up. Right hand down, left hand up. Nice breath into the ribs. And back to the floor. Left hand comes down. Breathe in, right hand up. Exhale, stretch over and twist. Hold for the breath in. Breathe out, reach a little further. Breathe in, turn to the front and exhale and return. Excellent. And resting down. Alright, and we're all done for today. I hope you enjoyed the class.